Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of
A BJJ Marriage, where we talk about our lives as a married jiu-jitsu couple. Is it recording?
It is recording.
Why are you doing this again?
I don't know, I wanted to do it.
Okay, so what just happened was we started recording. We got about a minute and a half in, and Nick started off the podcast with a Cookie Monster voice because he thought it was funny for some reason.
It was really funny.
Then we realized our air conditioner was on, so we had to stop and restart. But now he's continuing with the Cookie Monster voice for your listening pleasure.
Yes, welcome to another episode of A BJJ Marriage.
Oh my goodness.
Where we talk about our lives as married jiu-jitsu couples. Practitioners.
We won't be soon if you keep it up. But anyway,
yes.
So we're going to restart and talk about our coffees again, but now you won't get our initial reaction to our first sip. But I'm drinking sparkling cold brew coffee, which is cucumber, lime, ginger flavored. And there's a lot of ginger in it. And it's very odd. I don't feel like it's coffee. And then he is drinking black currant grapefruit.
Yeah. It doesn't taste like coffee. Doesn't taste like wine. I don't know what it is.
He asked what currant was, and I don't know if I'm even saying it right. That's how I was taught in the restaurant, was that it was currant, but it might be currant. I don't really know. I was just told that that's what's in a lot of red wine. So I say currant, but if you're laughing at me because it sounds terrible, then sorry. Purple Belt Chef.
I like it.
Not a brewer. I don't make wine. Because last time I've had homemade wine, my dog drank it instead.
Our dog's an alcoholic, though.
Cheers, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Dave made homemade wine once, and if he's listening to this right now, I can guarantee he's smiling because he also knows how terrible it was.
We'll see what the next batch is like. Who knows?
So it was some of the worst liquid that I've ever ingested.
Wow.
Yep.
How many liquids have you ingested? Why would you say it like that?
It was in the middle of me saying that. I was like, someone's going to turn this dirty really fast.
That's what she said. Ding.
But I think we made he made a strawberry wine and then like a blackberry wine just to try it out. And he asked me to come over after he had been letting it sit for a couple weeks, and he asked if I could help him drain it from the cheesecloth into the bottles. And I was like, sure, that sounds like fun. So we went over there, and we didn't drink it right away, and he gave me one of each bottle, and I was really excited about it. And then we had my dad and my family and Maria and everyone over, and Maria and I drank some wine together, and we did not finish that glass of wine.
But our dog did.
Yep. Maria had set her wine right here. And out of nowhere, Scarlett just came and drank it all. So she liked it. Dave, Scarlett liked her wine.
Dog approved.
But it's funny because whenever we bring it up, Dave is like, oh, that was awful. That was not very good.
Oh, yeah.
So,
kind of like my performance this last weekend at competition.
He's had better days.
This was my worst competition ever. So if you've been following us at all, you know that we were leading up to competition this Saturday. And I was really excited because I haven't competed in about half a year. But I was probably a little bit blindsided because I didn't remember quite the intensity I needed to bring to competition. And ultimately, I ended up losing 5 matches, winning 0 matches. And I got submitted, 4 times?
4? Yeah, it's 4.
Which is the most out of any competition ever. I think before that, I probably got submitted maybe once every competition.
Well, it was just kind of crazy because I remember I was talking to Maria, and for those of you who don't know, Maria is my dad's girlfriend, so we're very close and we talk a lot, but she was there, and I think that was her first time really ever seeing him compete because she's never been to a competition before until recently when her son started joining.
Right.
And I told her after his first 2 matches and he wasn't winning, I was like, I've never seen him like this before. Like, he's always very motivated and go-getter and aggressive, and he's very, different on the mats. And right now, he's not acting like that, so I don't really know what's going on in his head. But Nick did not perform the way that he expected himself to.
No, not at all. And not how I would want one of my competitors to compete either.
Yeah.
So it was really frustrating. I don't know. I felt like super flat. There was a lot of times where like I was getting grips and my fingers were just tingling and they started to almost go numb when I was like pulling stuff in, and I was like in the middle of the match like trying to choke, but also like what's going on with my hands. So I don't know. I just wasn't fully in competition mode, which I think ultimately was my downfall. And then when I got myself back to that point after my gi matches, because I think my first match in each division was my hardest match of the day, which is also very difficult going into the rest of your matches because you're just physically exhausted. And like I was in this guy's half guard. He pulled guard directly in the half guard, and then he got a deep half guard, and then I was trying to hold him down, and he literally stood up from bottom half guard and swept me, which is
It was kind of wild.
pretty insane when we're watching it back. And I haven't watched back all of the competition videos yet. And, you know, for everybody's sake, I probably will post them in the group of our team so that we can all examine and
Learn from it.
learn, even though
Critique the
it
little
pains
details.
me to like continually watch me lose over and over. But I mean, it's a good experience for the whole gym. And it's good for everybody to work on. And it's good for people to know, like, I'm going to do that to Nick now because he obviously has no answer. No, but
But I think
yeah.
it's good that you're like accepting your own humility on it. Like you are a face of fluid. You train people like you do private lessons and personal training and activities with people on jiu-jitsu. You teach underprivileged kids. Like you have a big say in the jiu-jitsu community, and to see you accepting the fact that you lost and wanting to grow and learn from it, I think is humbling in itself, and I think a lot of people can take a lot of lessons out of that.
Well, thanks.
Even though you can, if you're watching, or I guess if you're listening to, you can like see it and hear it in him that he's disappointed that things didn't go the way that he expected them to.
Yes.
But I think he's also in a place of mind right now where he knows where he failed and where he made mistakes, and that he wants to learn and grow from it and do better next time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really tough all day. And like I said, my first opponent in both my divisions was definitely the hardest. He won gold in both divisions also. So I put a lot into those matches, which, well, in gi, it made me tired for my rest of my matches. And then also in gi, I was just making terrible decisions. I mean, okay, I haven't watched the whole videos yet, right? So I might take this back later. But I felt like the techniques I was trying to use weren't terrible techniques or answers to what was happening, but they were like half-ass executed or just not enough technique to get through wherever I was stuck at that moment.
Yeah, well, the way my dad described it was there wasn't enough oomph in your mobility. Everything that you were doing was, like you said, half-ass, and I don't really know why.
Yeah.
But like you also said, your first match, he was a big dude and he was a strong dude and he
he
stood
literally
up.
stood up bottom
Like
deep half.
Nick's leg was on his shoulder and Nick's leg went up and like off.
And he
It was
had a
crazy.
lockdown. And then he literally posted up on one hand and like hoisted himself.
Yeah, I don't really know how you guys were in the same division. He had to have gotten like bumped down or something. I don't
Also,
even
I
know,
weighed 164 pounds,
which is not true.
which is not true.
Their scales are really
So he
messed
probably
up.
weighed like 180 cut and then weighed in at like 179 or 169 or something. I don't know.
Or
Not
he may
sure.
have been bumped down.
No, because he's competed in that division in the past because I looked him up a little bit.
Oh. Okay.
So
Well, he was a big dude, so that's kind of what we're getting at, is that his physique was a little bit different than Nick's physique. And Nick has a very good physique, like he's very well built and put together, but this dude was just tall and massive. So it was just a different body language and a different body type, and it's just, and I mean, if you're in the same weight bracket with the same skill, that already is a challenge in itself, no matter what they actually look like.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I put a lot into that match, and then my arms were burning out like already because I was trying to choke him from my guard, trying to do some baseball bat chokes, and then I would have lost him by points, but in the last 30 seconds, I was really going for broke, exposing a lot of myself so that I could try to really get on top and try to finish somehow because I knew I wasn't gonna come back on points, and then he caught me in an armbar within the last 10 seconds because I was trying to make those adjustments and win by submission.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that explosiveness that I tried in that last 30 seconds, which wasn't that explosive, but it definitely got us both moving. It was more of like a 30-second scramble. He submitted me, and then that took a lot of juice out of me for the rest of my matches. The match after that, I lost by points. I think that was more of a technical battle. I held guard on him a lot, and I think I lost like 4-0, and I was trying to sweep
You tried rubber guard on him.
I did. I used rubber guard a little bit. I was trying to go for the omoplata from rubber guard, but he had my other leg trapped, so then I just went straight from rubber guard to half guard, which I remember in competition, I was like, I didn't know you could do that. But yeah, that was really weird, a weird transition. But basically, I held him in my guard. I think he pulled guard on me and got, like, I don't know how he got 4 points.
I don't remember, but it was 4-0.
But yeah, and I was trying to sweep to mount to win on points.
I think you just passed your guard.
But that's 3 points for a guard pass point.
Is it? I thought it was 2.
It's 3. No, yeah, you're right. It's 2. So he just passed my guard twice, and I regarded twice.
I think that's all it was.
Yeah, probably. That's what happened.
Like, if it would have went down to ref's decision, like, let's say you got 4 points and he had 4 points, you probably would have won. Just because he was in your guard, like, the whole time.
Yeah, and I was attacking him.
But he had 4 points.
Right. And I had a really close omoplata attack on him, but I just couldn't finish that and I was trying to finish it, and I would go to triangle and all that instead of, like, sweeping and getting on top, which probably would have saved me. So, in hindsight, they always say, and I always say position over submission. Definitely should have gone for the sweep. But, I was trying to finish the match right there and then also.
Right.
But I haven't rewatched that match yet. And then the match after that, I did get a takedown, so I was up 2-0. It was a nice trip. We had a little bit of stand-up exchanges. I was going a little bit more aggressive in stand-up. I ended up getting the takedown, and then I was literally in his close guard for 4 minutes. I had a really good gi grip on his pants to keep his hips down, and I kept working myself back out, and he was just switching his close guard back and forth. And it was really annoying.
Yeah, my dad and I were in the back just, like, yelling, like, left leg, now right leg. Okay, no, left, right, left.
Yeah, and I was like...
And you could just see him just constantly. But, if you were feeling it, if you were up to par, you probably would have felt that tiny half-a-second opening while he was switching. Where I could have backed out and... Yeah, and, like, stood up or worked something. But that was your third match. You were exhausted.
That was my third match. Yes, I was super tired. Flat. I was flat. But I was holding him down. He couldn't sweep me for the life of him. Right. He was just holding close guard.
Like, we went through, like, a time lapse on that video this morning, and
we just scrolled through the video.
Like, we just watched the takedown, and then after the takedown, I just, like, scrolled, and all you saw was just Nick in the close guard. Like, nothing was happening, except for this dude switching his feet, and that was it.
So then, I wanted to either pass the guard or submit him, so I saw the opportunity to go for a punch choke. And it was a good punch choke. I could see, it definitely making him react, which is what you should get out of a punch choke. And as he reacted, I should have immediately gone for guard pass, but I held on way too long, tried to finish the punch choke, and then he adjusted and then scooped up my arm, and then we rolled around for a few seconds, and he actually ended up catching and finishing the armbar, which was a very dumb mistake in hindsight. Which is like, that's probably the dumbest thing I did all day, even though it wasn't like awful. I also am not like, punch chokes are definitely better for those bigger, longer people that can really put more leverage into it.
I don't know what the score was on that. Was it just 2-0?
2-0.
Oh, I didn't see the score.
Yeah, I would have won on points if I just stayed in his close guard. But like, what kind of match is that? Right. Take him down and sit in close guard. But I mean, a win is a win. But, like, what kind of win is that? So, I was trying stuff there. So, at this point, I've been armbarred twice on the same arm. So, this arm is weak. Because I could feel it. I mean, arm bars in competition, you're not immediately, they grab your arm, and then, like, if you're in the gym, you're just going to be like, oh, tap, that was a good arm bar. Like, you're going to try to fight it, to bring it in, to stack it up, to try to pull it off the angle.
And also in competition, they're not going to, like, slowly put it on.
Right.
And, like, I have it locked. Okay, let me just
They're hipping in straight into that arm bar, and you're tensed up the whole time because you're not just going to give them your arm, right? So both of those arm bars had made my arm weak.
Yeah.
So my last match.
And it's not like you can just sit there and hold off. Like, even though you had 10 seconds left in the first one, it's not a choke that you can maybe, like, try to wiggle around and try to survive and hold your breath for 10 seconds. It was literally an arm. You tap or you snap. Like,
right, and I'm not getting paid $500,000 like Tony Ferguson. And willing to see how far my arm will go. So, yeah, there's that.
Tap or snap.
Exactly.
Tap. The name of this.
Tap, nap, or snap.
Yeah.
I didn't get choked at all this competition at all. No, nothing to my neck. Not even a close. I think there was actually one point in that 30-second scramble where he tried to go for a loop choke, but I immediately dusted that off. But that's where he scooped up my arm for an armbar. Something like that. Because he ended up in like a reverse triangle triple threat type deal. From me spinning out underneath him and whatever.
Right.
Anyways.
In your last match, I don't even remember that one.
So my last gi match was a minute and a half. I was honestly tired as fuck because of the 3 losses. Me sitting in someone's close guard for 4 minutes. Me getting stood up in the first match from bottom or top half guard and everything that I put into that first match, I should say. And then the other match, literally I was in my guard the whole time. He passed twice. It was regarding. So I went all full time for all the first 3 matches, basically. Within the last minute of the match, I should say, at least. And then...
So it's like basically 15 minutes of straight rolling at 100%. That's a lot.
Yes. And then my last match in gi, he pulled guard on me. And I didn't pass the guard right away, so I was in his guard. I was in closed guard again. And he was a little bit longer than me. And these dudes are all, like, super fucking strong. Like, typically, I don't feel that in the gym. It's just strength like that often.
Yeah.
So, that's all I'm going to say on that. But he had a really solid Kimura attempt on my right arm, which was my good arm at this point. And I had a really good grip on my pants and the inside of his pants. So he wasn't able to pull that out, and he wasn't able to, like, flip me over for an omoplata triangle or anything. And I was just working myself back. So I overcompensated by working to get that elbow back and exposed my other elbow, which is now my weak arm. And then he snatched that up, and then I wasn't able to pull that back as well as I was my strong right arm, is what I tried to say with 3 words at once. Mm-hmm. And then he just pulled that arm out, and you guys thought it looked like an arm bar, but we were both wearing black gis. Hard to tell. And he ended up rolling, and it was a Kimura more than it was an arm bar. And then I didn't really have much to fight that in my weak arm, and I didn't want to get hurt, so then I tapped in like a minute and a half. And then that was the end of my gi division. And then I wanted to...
took a nap.
Yeah, and my nap was awful because...
Jada wouldn't stop talking.
Okay, well, there's that. But...
He was trying to sleep, and literally Jada's on one side of him, my 13-year-old sister, and I was on the other side of him, and I was on my phone trying to let him sleep, like not talking to him, not touching him or anything, and then Jada was just like, Brittany, and I was trying to act like I wasn't hearing her because I was actually in the middle of reading something, and then I looked at her like, what, Jada? And she goes, is Devin doing only no-gi? And I'm like, was that really that important to ask me right now? He is sleeping. Shut up.
Yeah, she was very talkative yesterday.
Continue.
Yeah, but during my nap, it was a comfortable spot, actually. It was a nice pillow we made. But like I said, in my first couple matches, I could feel my forearms burning and almost going numb. And when I took my nap, my entire face, from my jaw to the top of my head, it literally felt like it was buzzing and vibrating, like my teeth and everything. And my arms, from my elbows to my fingertips, fell asleep and went completely numb during my 20-minute nap. And I was like, this is not right. I don't know what the hell's up with this. And then I had about an hour and a half, 2-hour break before my no-gi matches. And I was like, I'm gonna bring it like I normally do. I had an energy drink. I had some peanut butter pretzels, my favorite snack, and I had a banana, all the good things that you need to go out there and compete. And I was like, I'm ready. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it all out there. I got to redeem myself. This is no-gi. Let's go. And I went out there right away, and the match started. And before she could even hit record, I had blast doubled the first guy that I went up against in gi. That was super strong, but I blast doubled and took him down immediately. And it was like we were both in the air type of blast double, and that was fun. Honestly, that was probably my best move of the day. Right off the gun, just boom. And then I was in his close guard, and then he ended up scooping up my leg. And I'm used to letting that leg get scooped up and then bringing it back over their face, bringing it back and using it as a pass, I believe. But as he brought it up over his face, he caught a toe hold in it, which in gi, that exact same move happened, and I was able to get out of it. I think he swept me last time in gi, but in no gi this time, he had that toe hold, and I didn't have the same sleeve collar grips that I could use to fight out of it. I was still doing the right thing. I grabbed his arm, I grabbed his head, I was scooting forward and kicking my foot to get through out of the toe hold. But then, both of us heard and felt a big loud crack on my ankle, and felt my ankle like adjust with the crack. And then I verbally and physically tapped, and we stopped the match, and then he is holding my foot like, oh, and I'm like, I did not feel pain at that point. I really didn't. And then I sat there, and then I was able to move around my ankle right away, and I was like, well, I don't think it's broken, but I don't know. And then within like 15 seconds, I was able to stand up and bow out of the match. But you can see in the video we took that he's like looking at me like, how is he standing? Because he also told me, he was like, I'm sorry about that, man. I hope you're good. He's like, I broke somebody else's ankle today doing that. And that was the second time that he had done that ankle. That? Yeah.
Oh.
And that was the second time he did that ankle attack to that same ankle.
Yikes.
Of the day.
That must have been like his game plan then going in, because if he tried it in gi, he broke someone else's ankle and he did it to you. Like he must have been training.
That must have been one of his good moves for sure. But
like there's no way just by chance he's getting those toe holds all the time.
Right. But
I never go for toe holds. Maybe that's just because I'm a white belt and I don't really do leg stuff ever. But
yeah, toe
holds are not something I look for. So if he's like actively going for them, had to have been a training technique.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But his ankle is fine, for those of you who are kind of sitting like, ooh.
Yeah, it ended up, it has a little bit of swelling, so it's probably, I sprained both my ankles a ton from skateboarding throughout the years. I did like 12, 15 years of skateboarding. And I think it was just like a big knuckle crack, but probably just a mild sprain. It doesn't hurt. It's not bruised. It's a little bit weak, I'd say, and a little bit swollen, but other than that, it's fine. My elbow honestly hurts more from the arm bars and the kimuras that were attacked on it. And then that ended up being the only no-gi match because the third person in our division wasn't able to compete in no-gi because he was still finishing up his gi or something. So with that match, I ended up getting silver in no-gi. But
did you not bring your medal then?
No, my medal's upstairs. I forgot about it because it really means nothing.
He said he wants to burn it, like burn the edges.
So it's like charred. So it's something to motivate me for the future. Because I really don't deserve any sort of medal for my performance yesterday. It was literally the worst performance I've ever had in competition.
You know, though, I think a lot of people would disagree with you on that. My dad wouldn't. My dad would tell you that you sucked, but...
Yeah, everybody's least favorite part of the day yesterday when we had dinner. Because whenever we have dinner, we always say your least favorite part of the day, say your favorite part of the day. Everybody's least favorite part of the day basically was calling me out saying, stop being a piece of shit.
Oh my goodness, he's being dramatic. But we went out to dinner, there was 10 of us, and it was a couple of people from the competition. 3 of them had competed, and all of them said, like, my least favorite part of the day was definitely not seeing my team perform up to the way that we had expected them to. And that came from the guy who won all of his matches. But then a couple of people said
also
that, but in different ways. And it was just basically saying, like, man, I really wish that, like, Nick and Jose and whoever else didn't win was able to win all of their matches, is how it pretty much went. And Nick basically took that to heart, and he was like, I'm sorry, I suck. And it's not that you suck, because honestly, we were just hanging out with Mike Coy today, one of our fellow black belts at Fluid, and he was saying that it takes brass balls to go out there and compete, especially as much as Nick has. I'm pretty sure this competition put you at 80, over 80, right?
Somewhere around there, yes.
Yeah. So let's just say,
very close to
for
80.
an easy number, he's done 80 matches in competition. That's 80 matches under pressure, under spotlights, under cameras, under referee decision. Like, that's 80 matches. That's a whole hell of a lot more than a lot of other people can say at blue belt. So I think that alone makes you a winner. And I know that sounds really corny. And maybe you don't feel like you deserve a silver medal. And I guess in some people's perspective, maybe it doesn't. But at the same time, you still got it. Because
I was actually out there.
I was just about to say, you showed up. You got a silver medal just for being there. Because no one else was. So think about it that way. There was no other
out of all the 170-pound blue belts
in the greater Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, no other 170-pound intermediate no-gi player showed up. And you did. So think about it that way.
Yeah, well. They could have beat me too, I guess. Maybe not, I don't know.
Being a real good life coach for my Odyssey right now.
Yeah.
Beating up on yourself.
I'm just beating myself up this weekend. Give me a day or something.
It's been a day.
Yeah. I know. I'm still reflecting, obviously. That's what part of this podcast is.
Still have to watch the videos.
Right.
We've only watched the first one, and that was just this morning with Mike Coy.
Right.
And Ted. Didn't forget about you, Ted. You were there too. You gave your input.
Yeah.
I appreciated it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe you just picked me up, man. Woman. Whatever.
It was crazy. It was a crazy day.
Yeah.
But, so, I guess let's take the spotlight off of you right now a little bit and keep talking about competition because it was a good day overall. I feel like, so we had 3 kids that went out there and competed, and they all did fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our 2 boys, Leonardo and Mateo, they both brought home a silver and a gold medal. One got silver in gi and gold in no-gi, and the other got vice versa.
Yep.
And then Ian, I think, got a gold and a silver as well. I think he got a silver in gi and a gold in no-gi, I think. Because he only lost 1 of 5 matches.
Yeah.
And I think he lost to a submission. But still.
Yeah.
So he only lost 1 of 5. So our kids did phenomenal, and it was very cool. I think one of my favorite moments of the day yesterday, or just in general, is, so I don't know if you guys pay attention to this podcast very much, but we do help coach the kids a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so Leo and Mateo are, I think, like 11 and 12 years old. Like, they're pretty young. And we have a good relationship with them. They're very fun children. They're actually what I aspire our kids to be if we ever have any. And Leo, every time that Leo and Mateo would win, I would give him a hug. And then on Leo's last match, like, it was his match for gold. Like, he had to win that to win gold. If he lost, he got silver. He won it, and he was very excited. He held up his hand, and then immediately he, like, came right for me with open arms. Like, he didn't wait for me to hug him. He, like, came right up to me, like, Coach Brittany. And it was just, like, one of the most amazing moments for me. Because I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah,
but then he had a good moment with you, too.
Yeah, Leo and I had a good moment, too, because on Friday, I kept taking his back, and I made him work to get out of the back by getting his shoulders to the mat, putting his chest up to the sky, and rolling back in, and getting out of that position. And he ended up in that position in the tournament match. I think it was his last match also. And he said he heard me in the back of his head saying, get your shoulders to the mat, get out of here, roll back into him. And then he was like, I did it because of you.
Yeah, he's like, I heard Coach Nick in my head, shoulders to the mat. And so he did it, and it was awesome.
And he got out of the back control, and it was great. It was super fun.
Yeah, so our kids did fantastic. And then our buddy Jose, he did it too, and he just competed for the first time 3 weeks ago, ever, at the Naga tournament. And he went in there, and I mean, he was as ready as he could be, but I don't think he was ready. Because who's ready for your first competition? You don't know what to expect until you're actually out there.
No way.
So if you've never competed before, I don't think you can even, like, imagine what it actually is like until you actually compete.
Yeah,
but then once you've competed, you now know what to expect. Like, you know what to do and how to react and how to perform and what you want to, like, you just have a game plan. And so this was Jose's second time competing. He's a blue belt. He's a 2-stripe blue belt, I think. 1 stripe, 2 stripe, somewhere around there. And he also didn't win any matches, but he performed a million times better than he did 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was able to survive almost all of his matches. I think one of them went to referee's decision because it was a tied match. And
and the last time he faced that guy got 22 points on him 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this time it was 0-0 ref decision, which he lost by ref decision. But that's such a huge gain.
Improvement. Yep. So Jose also did fantastic yesterday. And even though neither him nor Nick came out with a raised hand, they both came out with valuable knowledge and experience that they can learn from and grow from. And I think next time Jose competes, which sounds like it might be like October-ish, then he will have even more of an understanding of what to expect. And I think it'll be great for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we had our friend Devin compete as well. It was his first jiu-jitsu competition. Yeah. He has done over 200 matches for wrestling.
Right.
And he's a small guy. Like, he's 135 pounds. He's
Scale said 131.
Yeah.
Which we don't believe.
But I'm 141 pounds, and he's 135. And so he is smaller than me. Like, he's a small dude, but he is dangerous, man. And so he's such a good wrestler. Like, he teaches wrestling, and his takedowns are so great. And he was doing his jiu-jitsu match for the first time. And I was a little worried about him, actually, because anytime we get a wrestler out there for the first time, they typically get guillotined, and then they lose the match. And that's just a common pattern that we've seen. Not necessarily saying it always happens, but it's just a common pattern. But he went out there. He just dominated all of his opponents. All 3 of them. Just takedown, position, submission, boom, boom, boom. He won all 3 of his matches and won gold. He only did no-gi. He didn't do gi. But it was...
And he did intermediate no-gi, not beginner.
Yeah. It was so cool to watch.
It was great. And he won all by submission.
Mm-hmm. And he got...
2 Ezekiels and a guillotine.
Yeah. That's awesome. Congrats, Devin.
Fantastic.
I don't think you watched this, but congrats.
Yeah, he did awesome.
So, overall, I think it was a really good day. And I think a lot of people could learn a lot out of everything that happened.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I'd say my biggest takeaways, without watching my matches yet, is I need the intensity to be 100% no matter who I'm going up against or how I feel going into the tournament. I need to put everything out there 100%.
But you were telling me you were treating it as a submission only. You wanted it to be technique.
Yeah, I wanted to use my technique. I didn't want to have to exert myself if I had 10 matches every match. But I can't think it that way. I have to think that every match is going to either push me forward or be my last match.
Yep.
And if I'm down on points, I don't want to just sit there and accept it. I'm gonna do something to try to finish. So, yeah, I don't want to get to that spot. And you don't get to that spot by dominating, staying on top, being the aggressor.
Right.
But yeah.
And that's where he was down on points with one of his matches, and my dad was in the coach's chair and just said, you gotta try something. He was like, you're gonna basically lose this match right now if you don't try something. So either lose by points and not try anything, or go for something and lose that way. But at least try the better way to do it. Don't just sit there and take there's 20 seconds left. I'm down on points. I might as well just lay here like a dead fish. No, you at least try something.
I did. That's why I said the last 30 seconds of that match was a scramble.
Yeah.
I think it really was.
Your whole match should have been that way, though.
Yeah, for sure. But that scramble also led straight to a submission. Yep. So I was trying not to be dumb, but I was desperate. Doing desperate jiu-jitsu is not a great tactic. Mm-hmm. That's probably another takeaway.
What do we call those when they do panic wrestles?
Yeah, in the UFC, whenever you see people getting punched in the face and they all of a sudden try to go for a double leg, I always call that the panic wrestle.
It's never a good double leg.
It's always they just drop and hold on to legs oh, God. Yeah. Their knees on the ground. They can't get kneed anymore. It's hard for them to punch. You have to react to the takedown.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, panic wrestles. I was doing panic jiu-jitsu, which is I don't recommend. Do not do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a big takeaway. Another big takeaway I remember I said to some of them yesterday, get more rest the week of, because we had that tornado warning that went off at like 2 a.m. A couple nights before the tournament. And then the next night after that, I had been up in the middle of the night for an hour. I was like sick. I don't know what I was sick from, but for like an hour, I was sick and I could not sleep. So that was terrible.
And for 3 nights in a row, I don't think we went to sleep until after midnight when we normally go to bed at like 11. So that's an extra hour that we weren't getting. And then the night before competition, our neighbors were out partying. So we went and slept in a different room in the house, which wasn't our normal bed.
Yeah. And I didn't have a lot of carbs all week.
No carbs.
Right, because we did a shorter weight cut, for lack of a better word. I guess it kind of is a weight cut.
It is a cut.
So that I could weigh 164 pounds, which is bullshit. But...
He normally walks around at like 175 to 180. Like, that's just his normal weight. And he always cuts to 170 or below for these competitions. Well, he didn't know he was doing this competition until about a week and a half ago. So
I mean, I kind of planned on it, but I didn't know if I was actually going to until then.
Yeah, and because we didn't actually know, like, we were eating healthy and we were eating fine, but we weren't eating, like, super, super strict well.
Right.
It was
because
just
I think most of us expected me not to compete because I've been having knee issues. And my knees actually have been increasing, but I went to an ortho to get them checked out. And they actually told me, it's probably fine if you compete. That's no actual damage. You're just feeling pain. So, it's, it'll be okay. And then at that point, I was like, well, I guess I'm going to compete.
Yeah. But normally we spend like 2 months cutting. So basically what we did was when he wasn't signed up is instead of making mac and cheese that night because I didn't feel like cooking, we would make like a wrap or something. So we...
I want mac and cheese. Mac and cheese? Mm-hmm.
But so we were just trying to eat better food than just like making just junk food. But then when he officially signed up, that's when my creative cooking really got into gear. And if you follow our page on Facebook and Instagram, A BJJ Marriage, then you'll see all of the competition meals that we made.
They were so good.
They were good, but they were carbless.
Right.
So it was a very keto filled week. And keto is great for weight loss, but it's not very good for energy building, in my opinion, because carbs are what your body needs in order to burn energy. And if you don't have energy to burn, you're just fatigued.
Right.
So that's kind of what we think happened with him, is that we were so dramatically cutting out carbs so that he could lose the weight fast, and it wasn't giving him enough energy for the actual day.
Right, because everybody, myself included, that's not how I normally compete, like, at all. It's not. It was like a shadow of what I normally do.
Yeah.
And my technique was there, but like her dad said, there's not enough oomph. Yeah. It sucks. I hate it. I'm very disappointed, but I'm learning. See all these things? Yeah.
Well, what did Mike say today? Who was the person that he brought up that said, if you ask this person if they won every match...
Andre Galvao.
If you ask who?
You don't know who Andre Galvao is?
No.
Oh my god.
To be fair, I didn't know who Marcelo Garcia was either until we started talking about
goodness.
him. I don't follow that kind of stuff. I see cool videos.
You only know Gordon Ryan. Hey, do you know who Craig Jones is?
He's the OnlyFans dude.
How about Gary Tonin?
I do know Gary Tonin because he's part of the Down Here Death Squad. DDS.
How about Jeff Glover?
I did not know who Jeff Glover was until we booked the seminar. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. I don't listen to all of the big name jiu-jitsu players. I just see a cool video.
Also, to be fair,
can I finish my
she doesn't have
statement?
Instagram, so that would be a big detriment to her knowing any jiu-jitsu people. So that's how you get famous in jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Most likely, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't have Instagram. I only have Facebook and Snapchat. I don't have Twitter or Instagram or any of that stuff. I did have a MySpace. We had that kind of conversation yesterday. But
anyways.
Yeah, I don't follow big name jiu-jitsu players. I just see a cool video on Facebook and then save it and try it later with Ellie, and then we fail miserably. Okay, but that was a scissors takedown from standing that I didn't know was a scissors takedown, and it was pretty awful.
There's a reason that it's only for advanced no-gi.
Well, they were black belt girls in gis.
Yeah, but like, I'm sure they're also advanced no-gi. if they're black belts.
Probably. I didn't know it was a scissors takedown. I couldn't tell.
Okay.
It just looked like a really flashy guard pass to
Yeah.
me. So it was a guard pass from standing where you move to a reverse knee on belly, where then you catch their leg and spin so you take their back. Like, that was the whole thing. But it apparently ended up being a scissors takedown. But
Yep.
neither Ellie nor I could figure it out, just ourselves. So my dad came over and helped us, and he was just like, whoa, 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 oh, that was fancy. And then Jason Bergman comes over and he's like, that's so much flashy shit, I don't care about that.
And those are the two camps of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yes. But
no,
yeah.
I don't follow big name people. I just like seeing moves and follow the people that we watch, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of great jiu-jitsu practitioners out there. There's a ton of great technique instructionals. There's so much on the internet to learn from jiu-jitsu and people, so I don't expect you to know everybody.
I just saw Red Schaefer yesterday for the first time.
He's been at a couple of our tournaments before.
Yeah, that's a big Milwaukee jiu-jitsu player.
Yeah, he used to be a UFC fighter.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know the name Red Schaefer just because it's another jiu-jitsu gym here in Milwaukee. But
yeah,
I saw him yesterday win his match at the competition. So that was cool.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this plenty of times, that competition is a whole different mindset. It's a different animal out there.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think differently and act differently and move differently in order to win your match successfully.
Yeah, I don't think I was training at 100% either.
Probably not.
For competition, the way that I should have been. I was training harder, but not 100%. I know the last competition I pulled out of was because of my knee pain, because I was training super hard for that competition, and my knees were literally on fire. Yeah. And I was like, I can't kneel. Yeah. I can't compete.
Do you remember that?
And those matches were scheduled until 2 a.m., so I was like, fuck this. My knees are fucked. I'm not going to wait around in this auditorium for fucking 15 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was kind of cool for me, though, because when we were about to leave, I was watching a girl that I know, and she was finishing up her match, but just across the way, there was my division, and I actually knew it was my division because I faced every single one of those girls before. And I saw two of the girls going against each other in the competition, and I was just looking, and I was like, I beat both of them. Like, that was just, it was kind of a cool moment to just be there and watch a match of two girls fighting each other that you have beaten both of them already. And I was like, this is an interesting feeling. I've never had this before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fun stuff.
I don't really have anything else to elaborate on that. It was just a cool moment.
Yeah, that's a cool moment, for sure.
I don't know. Have you guys ever had that where you're, I mean, if you compete, have you ever just been to a competition and seen someone and be like, oh yeah, I've won against them before? Whether it was a good experience or a bad experience, like it's still kind of cool to just start seeing the same people.
Yeah, I can add to that. There was a guy that I went up against that I recognized. He was in my weight class at 170, and I saw he registered at like the 205-pound division. And then I saw him competing, and I was like,
whoa, that's crazy.
I did beat that guy too, but I could tell. I was like, oh, COVID did not treat that man well. So I'm not gonna like name drop anyone.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Mm-hmm. So I know what you feel.
Yeah.
But I'm also happy I'm not in the 205-pound division.
Well, the last competition that we were at, I wasn't competing in that one, but we were standing in line, and there was a girl who walked past me, and she had just like, she kind of tapped me on the shoulder as she was walking past and waved and said, "Hi, Brittany," and then she walked away, and I was like, who was that? And then I realized that it was someone that I went against in my first competition like a year and a half ago. And I was like,
that's right.
How does she remember my name? That's crazy.
Maybe you beat her.
I did.
There you go. You just remember that stuff. I remember some of the people that beat me.
Yeah, but I beat her only by points.
So far, I get beat really well by MMA fighters. So if you're an MMA fighter and you get to sign up in a grappling competition, you're probably going to beat me.
Go fight Nelly.
Yeah, Nelly beat me. Jordan beat me. And now this Ellis beat me.
You should train with Nelly. He's an easy person to find and train with. But Anyway.
Next time.
Yeah, that first competition is when I got bumped up, though. So she was a weight class above me.
Mm.
Because then even that day, she was competing and I wasn't. I went and watched her matches, and she was still in that same weight class, but I would not be anymore.
Makes
I
sense.
wasn't the first time either, but now there's more people signed up. Like,
Yeah.
all the girls that I went against in the last competition, they were all brand new people. Like, I think that had to have been their first competition.
Yeah.
So it's
makes
cool
sense.
to see them on the mats again, too, because that was definitely a thought that ran through my head, where I was like, this is at least your guys' second competition, because I've already faced you, and now you're here again, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And for this last competition, there was over 930 registered competitors, and there's 14 mats.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in there, and that was fun. I just love being in those environments. I really love coaching. There was people that I had worked technique on, adults and kids, that they were able to use those techniques that we
Execute it.
worked on together.
Yep.
So I was really happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what the hell happened to my body where it was just like, nah. So,
Those post-competition feels.
yeah, it really sucks. I'm not happy about it, but I'm working through it and taking my L and using that L as a learning experience instead of just a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not quitting, as cliche as that sounds.
How have you felt in the past when you've lost before? Because obviously it hasn't been like this, where
in the
it's been all
past,
of them.
I've lost maybe one match every division. I've never lost like multiple matches. I think maybe my first no-gi intermediate competition, I lost like a couple matches,
But
but
you
I
still
still
did
got
good
like
in gi.
bronze or silver,
Yeah.
and I still did good in gi, right? But I've never had a day where I just overwhelmingly sucked and lost. So this is a first, and it's it's something new,
Mm-hmm.
which is good, a good experience for me,
Exposure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that I'm not used to, and I'm pretty sure it's something that nobody expected, which is just a little bit extra weight.
Well, we had that conversation on the way up there yesterday, too, where I had asked you why you were feeling pressure.
Right, because I
Yeah.
told you, I feel a pressure going into this tournament.
But I asked him why. I was like, you've never had that before, and I don't know where you're starting to get this pressure that you're putting on yourself right now. And I asked him, I was like, do you think it's maybe because it might be your last blue belt tournament? Like, do you think that maybe the next time a tournament comes around that you might be in a different division?
Yeah, maybe.
And so you felt like you had something to prove? Or is it
Mhm.
because the gym owner is your father-in-law? Or is it because you are a personal trainer now for jiu-jitsu that
Mm-hmm.
you felt like you needed to owe something to the people? Like, I've been teaching you this, now watch me go execute it.
Right.
Like I think all of that was just weighing on you subconsciously.
Yeah. I think
But
so.
you've never let that bother you before. So that was the weirdest part of it.
Yeah. But I felt like people expected me to do certain things, and I don't know.
I kept trying to ask him what he would tell me if I was in that scenario. Because I always feel that pressure going into competition. My dad is the owner of the gym. My dad is my coach. Like, I don't want to disappoint him and make the gym look bad and make my dad look bad. So, like, I always carry that weight on me, and I don't know how to get rid of it. But that's never bothered you before. So what do you always tell me in that scenario?
Get excited, go out there, learn, and have fun, and just do your best.
Mm-hmm. Did you do that?
I got excited, but not fully as excited as I normally do. Which I think is another big thing. I normally show up to competition, weigh in, and have this giant coffee, and I did not this time. I didn't have the normal routine that we normally would have to get me that coffee. And I think that was a major inhibitor of my exertion of my technique. Because when I had my energy drink in between gi and no gi, I came out immediately with that blast double. We were flying, and I had more intensity, but my ankle literally broke on me.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
It
it
was-
would have been better.
It was also hard because every competition that you've ever done, ever, leading up to this point, we have either been close by, so we didn't have to wake up at 5 a.m.,
Yeah.
or we've stayed in the Dells overnight, so we, again, don't have to be up at 5 a.m. But
Yep.
this time, we don't go to bed till after midnight, and we're not sleeping in the right bed, and we have to be up at 5 a.m., and my alarm didn't go off because I set it for the wrong day.
So we were rushing.
Luckily, I woke up at 5:52, even though my alarm was set for 5:15. So we were already running late for the day. Thank God I didn't wake up at like 7:30 or 8. But yeah, well, I woke up and I saw the sun was out, and I was like, what time is it? And I look and I'm like, oh no, we gotta get up. Because then the competition was like almost 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So typically we would stay in the Dells before the competition day. But again, he didn't sign up until a week and a half ago. And hotel prices in the summer in a touristy area like the Dells are just insane.
They are crazy, yeah.
So we didn't want to stay overnight. And then also have to get a dog sitter for the whole night and the day. And it just was going to be too much of a hassle. So we're like, we'll just wake up early. Yep. But because we got up early, we didn't stop at the at Starbucks or something to get a coffee because he needed to weigh in. By the time he weighed in, we just went to breakfast. And then
which I could have had fucking 5 coffees. But they're dumbass scales. Okay, moving on.
So I think just all of it together, the pressure he was feeling, the fatigue, the weight cut, the non-sleeping properly, like, and then driving there. Yeah, and then like can you imagine? I mean, if you've competed, you've got to understand how daunting it must feel for that 2-hour drive. Like just thinking for 2 hours, you have nothing else to focus on but your own thoughts on the road. And so for 2 hours, he's probably just sitting there like, what if I mess up? What if I do this? Okay, I'm going to try for this, but then if that doesn't work, like, that had to have been going through his head the entire time.
I was more trying to internalize where I was feeling pressure from. I was really trying to figure that out. So again, I was not focused on, like, performing. And
would you agree that it's the 3 subconscious things that I said?
I think, yeah, that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, then I know you were also a little, I don't know the right word, so for lack of a better word, embarrassed that Omar, Leonardo, and Mateo's dad also went live with your match.
Oh, well, that was after the fact, so it's just like, whatever. Yeah. Obviously.
But that adds into the pressure that you were feeling, like you had something to prove to...
Right, because people, like I said, I'm sure he expected that match to go well for me. Because most people, I mean, I do well in the gym, you know? I didn't do well in competition, so...
Everyone has their days, though.
Yeah.
And it'll be better next time.
That's right.
I remember the first time I competed, and I was a 1-stripe white belt, and I felt like I was a really good 1-stripe white belt, especially for being a female. And I know that sounds so, like, crazy. Like, I was a good 1-stripe white belt. But, like, compared to other 1-stripe white belts, like, I felt like I was better.
Doing all
like,
right, yeah.
I just felt like that.
Right.
And it wasn't really, like, an ego thing. It was just a skill thing. Like, I noticed that if I went against a no-stripe or a 1-stripe white belt, like, I was probably winning that match, even in the gym. So that's why I competed. I was like, I want to put this to the test. I want to see. And I got bumped up. And I went against a girl who was 170-some pounds. And I was 142. So she was 30 pounds heavier than me. Yep. And I remember I was stuck in her front headlock for 3 minutes. And I could not move. She couldn't move. She couldn't do anything, which is very freaking surprising to me because she was a 4-stripe white belt. She should have been able to do something to me. But she was 4-stripe white belt. I was 1-stripe white belt. And she was 30 pounds heavier than me. And I was stuck in her front headlock for 3 minutes. And I lost that match on points. But I did not get submitted. But I cried for like 10 minutes. I could not pull myself together. I was like, I'm supposed to be good at this. I'm coach's daughter. I have something to prove. Like, I was so disappointed in myself for losing that match. And I was very upset the whole time. So, like, losing sucks. And I don't think that there's a way to really tell yourself otherwise.
Yeah, I only wanted to cry a little bit yesterday, so that's fine.
Yeah. And it's okay to cry if you lose. Like, it's okay to be upset, but then you just gotta get back in gear.
Yeah, you gotta regroup, and you gotta get out there. Next match, it's a new match.
Yep.
Which I did in no-gi. I felt good in no-gi until my ankle gave out on me. And then I was like, is my ankle broken? Or what happened? Yeah, I literally only tapped because we heard and felt the crack. I didn't feel pain. I probably could have still grappled, but, like, you don't play around with shit like that. I'm not getting paid.
Right. But that's where I can relate to you on the losing aspect, because I didn't place that day in gi. I came in 4th place, which is not, there's not a medal for 4th place. But I came in 4th place out of 6th. So I didn't lose. But anyway, so, like,
I was 4 out of 4.
So I can relate to losing in a competition and how bad that pressure and that feeling sucks. Like, it really isn't a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But you learn from it. And then I also, just like him in his no-gi matches, I bounced back. 3 hours later, I had my no-gis, and I kicked butt. I won gold.
Yep.
So, you just have to have the right mentality. And I think that's all it really comes down to in competition, as we're learning with Nick right now, is that his mind wasn't right. His technique is on fire. His knees were fine. He was physically inept for everything. And his mind just wouldn't let him perform the way that he wanted to.
Yeah.
And so you really just have to, it's more about training your mindset than I think it is about your physical body.
Yeah, but there's some parts of that. My body was failing me with my grips, my face buzzing, my forearms.
I guess.
Like we talked about with, like, not enough carbs, not the normal amount of caffeine that I'm used to.
Yeah, you're right.
So there's part both.
Right.
It's just everything, the stars aligned for my opponents and not me.
Right.
Which is disappointing. And that's not an excuse, because those are all things that I can control anyways. But, yeah.
Competition. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. And I appreciate you guys listening to my synopsis of my performance yesterday. And, I hope you guys can take away something from my losses, if anything, because if you're part of the team that we train with, we can all learn from everybody's performance, whether we win or lose.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So, yeah, I did it for you guys. Thanks, followers.
Well, if you guys have any questions for Nick or comments, I'm sure he'll be posting videos soon if you're from Fluid. Not sure if they'll make it past that, but let us know if you have any questions about this video. If you're thinking about competing, let us know. We can probably help you get that mindset right for it.
If you want any private lessons, learn how to lose, hit me up.
Stop it. Don't let us deter you from competing, because I still think everyone should try it at least once. Just to get that feeling. Because if you were listening to this and you've never competed before, you probably just can't relate.
Right, and...
That's not a bad thing. I'm just saying you just probably can't relate.
Right, and the feeling that you would feel from competitors, like I've said in past episodes, is what it would feel like if somebody's actually trying to kill you.
Mm-hmm. And it's really more of a
test. For whatever reason.
Yeah, it's more of a test to yourself than it is to anyone else. Which is why having that pressure of other people on you is so dumb. And I know it's dumb, but, like, you're really just testing your own self. Because there is a man standing at the end of the street and they attack me, I want to know what I can do. And how well I can survive.
Whether they're 130 pounds or 170 pounds. Or 225 pounds.
David Miller told me that I was also crazy for wanting to roll with the big no-stripe white belts. And he was like, I guess that's just coming from a more experienced guy. And I was like, but that's who's going to attack me. And he was like, I mean, I get it, but, like, the injuries. And I was like, but that's who's going to attack me.
Right. Right.
So, anyway, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys listening. And hopefully next competition, which we're gearing up for on
Halloween.
Is it Halloween?
I heard October 31st. Yeah.
Someone, please send me your PayPal Venmo donation so I can compete in a Spider-Man rash card. I would really appreciate that for Halloween.
Oh.
Come on. Or I would love to compete in a Deadpool rash card. Or if you guys crowdfund any sort of ridiculous rash card for Halloween, I will compete in it for sure.
Maybe we'll have our unicorn by then.
Maybe that'd be cool. But, like, that sounds like a great...
Okay, go turn off the camera.
Great idea.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Have a great day.